Hello YouTube. Every video I feel like I'm always like, I'm sorry, it's been a minute. But my life has changed significantly since I last checked in with you all. I feel like I'm going through a lot of changes in my life right now and I just kind of want to document it, whether that be for myself or for all of your guys' entertainment to watch. But I've really sincerely rebranded as a fashion girl. Like, I've been grinding away at my fashion TikTok. I have a fashion podcast now. If you haven't heard of it before, it's called Changing Room Thoughts. I'll link it here. But I figured like it would be fun to kind of do day in my life now, what it's like managing a 9-to-5 while also working on my fashion podcast, how I conduct research, etc. Because I get a lot of questions about that, like how I balance the two. And it's been a crazy ride. Like, people have started to call me a fashion journalist, which is like insane. It's just kind of crazy, like how much of a 180. I was depressed last time we checked in. And I would say I'm baseline happy right now, which is like, I'm very fortunate, knock on wood. Usually I don't wait till Sunday night to do all my podcast stuff, but I was gonna have a guest speaker on the podcast this week, but it's not happening. So I am coming up with something very last minute, filming and editing it at 10 p.m. on a Sunday. And I always go live with my podcast episodes on Monday, so let's see how that goes. I might do a more in-depth room tour sometime later on because I've put a lot of effort into decorating my room, but it's really messy right now, so maybe some other time. I think obviously when you start getting into fashion, it's important to keep your inspirations close to you, so I put up pictures of my favorite fashion moments and illustrations. Lots of Antonio Lopez, some familiar faces, Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, Giselle Bundchen. I'm gonna hide my phones behind my computer, otherwise I'm gonna get distracted.
Yes? I don't think you guys have ever seen Stelly before. This is Stella Chan, everyone.
Alright, it's 10:16. I've loosely spent the day, plus really intensively, like the last hour, investigating and researching the topic. So today's episode is on the boycott on Black Friday, what I think about it, what I think about the ethics of consumerism during Black Friday and in relation to Israel-Palestine. And now that I've done my research, I'm going to start getting ready to fill. So I'm going to show you guys what I've got. Okay, so I have this big ass monitor, ultra wide. Left hand side I have my music. Middle I have my research. This is like my browser tab where I look at news articles, references, etc. And then my right hand side is where I write down all my notes and all my thoughts. And then once I feel like I've gotten a hefty amount of bullet points on the right hand side, then I start pulling out my equipment. First, I'm a little sick, so let's get some hot water. Yeah. She wants me to feed her. It's kind of gross, but here's a little kitty stew. Let's feed her. Come on. Yeah. Good. No, Stelly, not for you. This is a podcast setup that I recommend. The Samsung Q2U mic is like not that expensive. It's like 80 bucks, I think. Comes with a mini USB and the XLR cables. Now, the mini USB broke on me. It's quite fragile actually, but if you're just starting out, you can use the mini USB to connect to GarageBand if you have a Mac, which is free. And then obviously I've set up my camera, same camera that I used for like vlogging. This one's really unnecessary. I got it though because I was planning on doing speakers on my podcast, and this allows you to connect up to 4 microphones at the same time. So I have another one of these mics that's just kind of sitting in there, waiting for the next time I get to feature a guest speaker. But yeah, a little bit of a learning curve figuring out how to use this, but now we're in business. Essentially, this PodTrack P4, I don't even know what this is called, controller, mixer, whatever. It helps you like adjust the volume or input of the microphone, the playback, you can like check the volume. It just helps with like mixing different tracks. And you stick an SD card in here, so when I edit, I just export the video footage from my camera, I sync it up to the audio from the mic, and that's how I get good quality sound with my video. To edit, I use Descript. Descript, if you're watching this, sponsor me. I've done user testing with them too. Big fan, especially if you're gonna do a podcast, but part of the reason why I stopped doing vlogs is because it's so much easier to do podcasts. Like, I can easily do a podcast a week because editing with Descript makes it really, really easy because you're just editing with words. I'll show you later after I finish recording this episode. But yeah, now I'm gonna start like, you know, talking my shit and I'll check back in with you guys after I'm done. I feel like the energy of this boycott is being strengthened and weaponized to cancel influencers like Aaliyah's Interlude and also Sabrina Bassoon, belovedly known as Tube Girl. And I just think that this is like misguided energy. I think like if you're wanting to vote with your dollar, which is unfortunately one of the only ways to like do anything in this crisis as an American, I'd like to introduce an alternative way to get into the festive holiday spirit and participate in consumerism, because like it or not, we've been conditioned to find it fun, right? And personally, like gift giving is one of my top love languages. Let's redirect this energy and support our local businesses. I think that's an even better fuck you to corporate America because it uplifts local economies, which is ultimately a good thing. If you don't follow Melody Note Vintage, I highly recommend it. She's an expert not only in all things vintage, but she just has the most straight up real takes. But she made a video about how your small businesses need you. Coca-Cola doesn't really need you, but your local vintage shop, your local bakery, your mom and pop like ice cream joint, like these people need you. We've had a really hard couple years. The economy is going to shit. People are really feeling tight in their wallets. Like if you're going to invest your time and energy to leave hate comments on Aaliyah Interlude videos or Sabrina Bassoon videos, you could also use that time and energy to research what local businesses around you are more deserving of your time and money. Especially in this upcoming holiday season where you're gifting other people things like little luxuries and little trinkets and nice things. You can find that stuff at small businesses. You can find that stuff secondhand. And can we normalize that? Like gifting people things secondhand? Because to me, I would love a thrifted or vintage gift because it shows somebody else really dug through stuff to find me the diamond in the rough, and that means a lot to me. Furthermore, it shows that you know that I'm committed to sustainability and you're helping me out with that vision. Okay, I just finished filming the podcast. Now what I do is export the sound and the video and then put it into Descript. By the way, if anyone has any cord management tips, I'd greatly appreciate that because this is like, let me zoom out. This is a nightmare right now. This folder that you're seeing right now is my external hard drive. So I have a 0.5 terabyte external, or 1 terabyte? I'm honestly not sure. It's this plastic thing right here, this external hard drive. I have a folder for every podcast episode. CRT is short for Changing Room Thoughts, episode 12. And then I have both the audio and the video files here. And I open up Descript, so a new video project. And then you'll see there's like the playback view, and then here's where all the words pop up. This part is crazy. So I add files. I'll add all of these in. I'll title the episode. Once the files are done importing, you want to select them, create a sequence. Okay, it's kind of hard to show you on this big ass screen, but I've synced up the wavelengths. So if I were to play the clip, some of this like ridiculous, it sounds like one audio source when it's actually two. Once I'm done matching it up, I'm going to transcribe the podcast track, insert the sequence into the script. It's gonna start to transcribe all of the words. Okay, it's done transcribing, and now, ta-da, magically there are words on this side of this screen. So now, instead of like playing back a bunch of clips, I can just edit the words. That's why I love Descript, and it has this really cool feature that makes my life so much easier. Up at the top here, the special actions bar, you can remove shorten word gaps. I'm gonna shorten anything greater than 0.2 seconds to 0 seconds. Just shorten them all at once. See, and that gets rid of all of the gaps. Just like being able to edit using this text editor, you can select the words and that selects the clip, and you can delete the parts that you don't like. It's like editing an essay. It takes way less time. Yeah, there are a bunch of other like really cool features, like being able to search your ums, uhs, etc. and delete them. So I edit my podcast in under an hour, easy. And then I also easily make like 4 or 5 shorts per episode. I love it. Descript, hit me up for a brand deal. I'm super down. I'm gonna edit the rest of this. I'm gonna put it on a time lapse so you can watch that breeze pass, and I'll check it after. It's currently midnight. Let's see if I can finish this. All right, so I finally finished editing. It's 1 a.m. So that took me like 45 minutes to finish editing. Honestly, pretty quick, given that this is almost a 20-minute video, like a 16-minute video. If I were to do this on like Final Cut or something like that, it would take ever. I'm gonna export my video. It's probably gonna take a little bit of time. And it's a long export, so usually this takes a little bit of time. In the meantime, let me show you how I made a short from this. Descript also makes it really easy to like repurpose chunks of your podcast for shorts, which is like a really big strategy for me. Basically, one 20-minute episode can give you like 4 or 5 shorts. You can like select and then duplicate to new composition. And then that will go into another clip like this. Now it's in here, and you can export like just this paragraph. All right, the last step is to actually upload the episode. So I use Spotify for podcasters to do my distribution. Give this episode a name, episode 12. And then, oh my God, this is the best hack ever. So I go to ChatGPT. I have a thread with my girl, ChatGPT. And then I go back to Descript, go back to my big episode, like the entire transcript, copy. I want you to provide a 50-word podcast episode description based on the following transcript. Here's the episode transcript. Paste that in there. It'll spit back something. Go back to Spotify. Paste that description. Fix it up. Happy Cyber Monday. Today I discussed the TikTok fueled boycott. Yep, this sounds pretty good. I'm gonna schedule this for... Some people get up early, so I'm gonna do 6 a.m. This looks pretty good. All right, schedule. Sweet. Now, pretty much I'll do the same exact thing on YouTube. This was gonna be a vlog, but I guess this turned into how to produce your own podcast. I think it's really funny because like I've started to attend and like take part in more glamorous fashion events, and people ask me about that, like, how do you get invited? What do you do? A majority of it is this unglamorous shit. Like right now, like I don't look cute, but we'll see. Next time I do something cool, I'll take you with me. If you don't listen to the podcast and you're even like remotely interested in style, fashion, self-expression, give it a listen and let me know what you think. Bye.